What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord, Dr. Professor, Dark Joker, with another edition of Where, Pick, and Dare, where I pick games for the various games that are occurring tomorrow. Whether it's football, baseball, basketball, basically whatever games I want to pick, I will pick them. With all that being said, on with the video. College men's basketball. Alabama Crimson Tide versus Florida Gators. Alabama has a 26.9% chance to win, and Florida has a 73.2% chance to win. This is at Florida. So Alabama's 23 in the nation, 14-6 record. Florida is 19 in the nation, 15-6 record. So yeah, so for stats, Alabama has more points per game, points against. Florida's a higher field goal percentage and has more rebounds per game. Alabama's slightly more assists per game, blocks per game, and steals per game. The stat where there's a big difference is points against. So it's a 10.4 in favor of Florida. The other ones are pretty close. So with the home field advantage and the points against advantage, I think Florida will beat Alabama tomorrow. Illinois fighting Illini versus Nebraska Cornhuskers. Illinois is a 45.9% chance to win. Nebraska is a 54.1% chance to win. This is at Nebraska. So Illinois is 9 in the nation, 18-3 record. Nebraska is 5 in the nation, 20-1 record. So for stats, Illinois has more points per game, points against. Nebraska has a slightly higher field goal percentage. Illinois has more rebounds per game. Nebraska has more assists per game. Illinois has more blocks per game, and Nebraska has more steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think Nebraska will beat Illinois tomorrow. College women's basketball. Tennessee Volunteers versus UConn Huskies. Tennessee is a 4.5% chance to win. UConn is a 95.5% chance to win. This is at UConn. So Tennessee's 15 in nation, 14-4 record. UConn's 1 in nation, 22-0 record. So a renewal of the big rivalry between these two. So this is like historically back when you had, Pat Summit, may she rest in peace, and Ariema at the two respective schools. Like this was like arguably the biggest rivalry in women's basketball, whether it's pro or college. Well, I mean, does WNBA have any big rivalries? I mean, it's the WNBA, no one cares. But yeah, so this could be a big game. I think this could be a really big one. So for stats, UConn has more points per game. Tennessee is more points against. UConn has a higher field goal percentage. Tennessee has more rebounds per game. UConn has more assists per game and slightly more blocks per game and is more steals per game. So yeah, there's some stats with a big difference. So the points per game, it is a 11.8 difference in favor of UConn. Points against is a 10.7 difference in favor of UConn. Field goal percentage is like an 8, so it's not too bad. And assists per game is 10.1 in favor of UConn. So yeah, with all those advantages and home field advantage, oh, UConn, I think UConn is beating Tennessee tomorrow. Alabama Crimson Tide versus LSU Tigers. Alabama is a 7.5% chance to win. LSU is a 92.5% chance to win. This is at LSU. So Alabama's 24 in the nation, 19-3 record. LSU's 6 in the nation, 20-2 record. For stats, LSU is more points per game, points against, higher field goal percentage, more rebounds per game, assists per game. Alabama is slightly more blocks per game, and LSU is more steals per game. So the stats there, the big difference are, you have points per game, which points per game, that one's a 26.5 difference in favor of LSU, and rebounds per game is a 10.1 in favor of LSU. So everything else is pretty close. So with those stats and with the home field advantage, I think LSU will beat Alabama tomorrow. Michigan Wolverines versus Michigan State Spartans. Michigan has a 59.2% chance to win. Michigan State has a 40.8% chance to win. This is at Michigan State. So Michigan is 9 in the nation, 18-3 record. Michigan State's 13 in the nation, 19-2 record. So their stats, Michigan has more points per game. Michigan State has slightly more points against, and it has a higher field goal percentage. Michigan has more rebounds per game. Michigan State has more assists per game, and has slightly more blocks per game and steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think Michigan State will beat Michigan tomorrow. Baylor Bears versus West Virginia Mountaineers. Baylor has a 37.1% chance to win, and West Virginia has a 62.9% chance to win. This is at West Virginia. So Baylor is 14 in the nation, 19-3 record. West Virginia is 22 in the nation, 17-5 record. For stats, West Virginia has more points per game, points against, higher field goal percentage. Baylor is more rebounds per game, assists per game, blocks per game, and West Virginia has more steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think West Virginia will beat Baylor tomorrow. TCU Horned Frogs versus Texas Tech Red Rares. TCU is a 65.4% chance to win. Texas Tech has a 34.6% chance to win. This is at Texas Tech. So TCU is 12 in the nation, 20-2 record. Texas Tech is 21 nation, 20-3 record. For stats, TCU is more points per game. Texas Tech has more points against. TCU has a higher field goal percentage and is more rebounds per game, assists per game. Texas Tech has slightly more blocks per game and is more steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think Texas Tech will beat TCU tomorrow. Oklahoma Sooners versus Texas Longhorns. Oklahoma has a 12.5% chance to win. Texas has an 87.5% chance to win. This is at Texas. So Oklahoma is 10 in nation, 17-4 record. Texas is 4 in nation, 20-2 record. For stats, Oklahoma has slightly more points per game and has more points against. Texas has a higher field goal percentage. Oklahoma has more rebounds per game, assists per game, slightly more blocks per game, and Texas is more steals per game. So yeah, so the stats with like the biggest difference is rebounds per game. It's 10 difference, 10.0 difference in favor of Oklahoma, but it's rebounds. The other ones are pretty close, and points per game. That one's a 9.5 in favor of Texas. I mean, that's the one that's got some gap to it, but not an extremely large one. And I don't think the rebounds difference is going to be big enough to make up for home field advantage, which Texas will have. So I think Texas will beat Oklahoma tomorrow. Iowa Hawkeyes versus UCLA Bruins. Iowa is a 10.7% chance to win. UCLA is an 89.3% chance to win. This is at UCLA. So Iowa is 8 in the nation, 18-3 record. UCLA is 2 in the nation, 20-1 record. For stats, UCLA is more points per game. Iowa is more points against. UCLA is a higher field goal percentage and is more rebounds per game, assists per game, blocks per game, and slightly more steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think UCLA will beat Iowa tomorrow. NBA. Orlando Magic versus San Antonio Spurs. The Magic have a 37.8% chance to win. The Spurs have a 62.2% chance to win. This is at San Antonio. For injuries, for the Magic, Wagner and Castleton are out, and for the Spurs, Sawkins, game time decision. For stats, Spurs have more points per game. Magic have more points against. Spurs have a slightly higher field goal percentage and have more rebounds per game. The Magic have slightly more assists per game, blocks per game, and steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think the Spurs will beat the Magic tomorrow. Los Angeles Lakers versus New York Knicks. The Lakers have a 31.8% chance to win, and the Knicks have a 68.2% chance to win. This is at New York. For injuries, for the Lakers, Reeves is a game time decision, and Thiero's out. For the Knicks, McBride is out, and McCullough Jr. is a game time decision. For stats, Knicks have more points per game. Lakers have more points against. They have a higher field goal percentage. Knicks have more rebounds per game, assists per game, slightly more blocks per game, and steals per game is even. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think the Knicks will beat the Lakers tomorrow. Oklahoma City Thunder versus Denver Nuggets. OKC has the Thunder have a 67.2% chance to win. The Nuggets have a 32.8% chance to win. This is at Denver. For injuries for the Thunder. Mitchell, Caruso are game time decisions, and Williams, Topic are out, and Sorber's out for a season. For the Nuggets, Hardaway Jr. and Braun are game time decisions, and Johnson, Gordon, and Bates are out. For stats, the Thunder have slightly more points per game. Nuggets have more points against and have a slightly higher field goal percentage. The Thunder have more rebounds per game. Nuggets have more assists per game. Thunder have more blocks per game and steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think the Nuggets will beat the Thunder tomorrow. And that's it for picks. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to my picks. Do you agree with them? Do you not? If you have different picks, you can put them in the comments. But other than that, please like, subscribe, and all that. Thank you for listening, and look forward to the next video.